welcome back. Today we'll be talking about growing up in the 2020s. So Gen Z, we are one of the first generation to have technology in our phones, but that can also lead to straining of the eye. During the pandemic, nutritionists, or whatever you call those people, they said that 50 to 60% of children said that they had eye strain from the blue light of our phones, and that is a lot. So what could happen is we could potentially, but this has not been factually sourced yet, we could hurt our eyesight before the age of 25. I can definitely say I experience this. If I ever am on my phone for way too much, I feel like, I don't know, my eyes get dry or something, and I just like, what is going on? Or my head hurts or something like that. I have to get away from my phone, which by then it's probably bad. I probably need to spend less time on my phone if my head is hurting. Also, our energy connected lifestyle, every ping or notification that you get on your phone affects cortisol in our body, which is a stress hormone. Over time, this cortisol can lead to things like stress and anxiety and messed up sleep cycles. Studies do show that notification anxiety is a real thing. It makes you always alert 24/7, especially if you have notifications about whatever it is. Let's say it be the group chat and they're always talking even though it's 12 p.m. at night, and it just makes you jittery. It's not good for your mental and physical health. Because if you think about it, in our primal days, not primal, but back in the days, we didn't have notifications, we didn't have constant buzzings of our phone. If there was any jolting at night, that would be a sign that we were in danger and we need to get up and run away, or else we might not be alive anymore. So this is what your unconscious brain is thinking. They're like, oh my gosh. Or it could be FOMO as well, fear of missing out. Because back in the days or whatever, if somebody, let's say somebody did something, right? They got a piece of food, but you didn't get a piece of food, you would really want this piece of food even if you weren't hungry, because that could be extra storage for you, another day that you could have gone without food without worrying. So it's really just ingrained in us, anxiety and always wanting to not miss out. But the thing is, it leads to burnout and it's just horrible for you. We're also more aware of health problems. Back then, you know what I mean? At least I remember my teacher telling me, literally, if somebody was disabled, they wouldn't even have a school. They wouldn't even allow them in the public school. They would separate them from the whole population or something. So now we're seeing people with ADHD and people with PCOS. And that is amazing because we're able to diverse ourselves more and see different people and be more open and not be as closed-minded. Because if you don't know something, how are you supposed to know it? It's as simple as that. You can see how everybody has something. You could easily look online and see how autism can affect somebody and what you can do to make that person feel better, how PCOS can affect somebody and what you can do to make that person feel better. Because you can see small groups of people that maybe are not big percentages in the whole entire big population, but they are visible to you on social media, and that is amazing. And that creates more empathy and more space for these people and these problems to grow, which hopefully leads to more science that can help with more treatments of these, for example, like PCOS. There also has been inflation. Everybody loves inflation, right? It's crazy how things have gone up so much. Basic living is so expensive, and if you think it's expensive, you're not wrong. In the 2020s, groceries and rent has gone way up from other times. Eggs, for example, I'm sure everybody saw memes of eggs and everything about how people are gonna go and sell eggs, go on the black market and sell eggs for cheaper because how pricey eggs are. But though that is a joke, it somewhat is in reality, because tell me how since 2019 and in 2023, eggs have literally doubled in price. I've seen TikToks where people are saying, oh, now I have to budget for eggs. I have to put that in my budget. It used to be something that I could just pick up. And it's horrible because eggs are something that people, or at least I would hope that some people, yes, they can afford it. But for other people, it's not as much attainable as it was before. It used to be just I would say for some people it's cheap, but a good source of fat and protein and omega-3 that everyone needs. And now it's getting up there in that price. Average rent has also went up by 30%. I've been looking at New York City apartments because eventually when I move out and I become a psychiatrist, I'm gonna live in Manhattan. And I was like, yeah, all the apartments, tell me why like them were like $4,500. Honey, what's going on? What is with that price? You know, maybe your parents or grandparents are talking about like cents gas or like that they paid for with working their part-time job. I did look it up, like can pay for my tuition because I'm going to a community college, but I will barely have anything left over. And that is horrible because I is improving myself. I'm gonna become a nurse, but it would be nice to have like fruits of my labor to go towards like wants. So we're fixing like dollar at curtains, and then like I feel like my chair's so squeaky. 1,200 apartment, tiny box apartment. Honey, what is going on? And our paychecks aren't like changing that much. So it's like just happened overnight. Like what's going on? And there is a current wealth gap. Like boomers, am I saying that? Yeah. Baby boomers, they earn 52% of Americans' wealth. And you know what Gen Z has? 2% or less. Under 5% at least. So that's such a good number, guys. Such a little minuscule number. They're getting like a good slice of the pie and we're getting like crumbs. And then we have a gig work trap. We're told in this economy that Ubering and DoorDash is an amazing sign of freedom and you got to do whatever you want whenever you want. But is that really true? After you fix in all of their expenses, such as gas, car repairs, and then unpaid downtime, like for example a lunch break, most of these gig workers, they're making less than minimum wage. Or a lot of gig workers are making less than minimum wage. A recent analysis that was done in recent studies shows that these gig workers and delivery drivers, they make less, including tips, than like say you're working for a specific company, like a pizza company, and you're a deliver pizzas. You're making less than a delivery full-time driver. In some cases, the drivers will be even paid like half of the income that non-gig workers make. And the outcome is Gen Z working in jobs that provide no stability, no retirement fund, underpaid, overworked, and just a horrible payment for such a demanding job. All while these companies keep on telling us that it is an amazing thing to do, freedom thing to do. You get flexibility, you get freedom, and it's really pushed on more, I would say like Z, as a fun job. I guess in a way it can be fun, but it shouldn't be a job where you don't have stability and the income that you at least need to survive. I saw this thing actually where one of these like companies, like I don't exactly remember which one it was, but the article or whatever was saying how this one company had to start like its workers, or at least they're like to pay their workers like wages because they haven't been doing that. So it's not that you literally have to force a company to do that. And each generations, they didn't have phones, of course they didn't, but with us, phones are always there. And with phones, sometimes there comes lessening privacy, literally from birth or even before birth, or ultrasounds. For example, those pictures can be posted online. 92% of American children will have some type of online appearance by the time that they are 2. You know, the first generation whose awkward school photo, temper tantrums, and birthday party may be found on the internet for everyone to see. We didn't get to choose our digital footprint. Sometimes our parents chose that for us. Now, I don't personally have an antidote for this because my parents, they don't post me like their Facebook or whatever, but I do have examples of my friends where their parent will constantly like them on their birthdays or whatever, and they'll look back on it and they'll look on the photo and they'll be like, oh my gosh, it looks so bad, like I asked her to take it down but she said like, oh my gosh, I look so cute. And it's just, I can understand that, because let's say like you took a really horrible photo and like don't like it and somebody still post it anyway. Not the best thing to happen. And those cringy middle school posts, like I cannot think of my middle school phase, and I'm so happy that my parents still like post photos on like media, etc. because I'm like on my phase. I like a emo phase, and I will say I do respect emos, but I don't think that was professionally like taste per se. Like I don't think it looked well on me like back, and it's just the things that I did during that phase. I definitely would not want anyone in the whole entire world to see that. It's weird though, because we'll always be there, because the internet never forgets. People may forget about your tantrum in 5th grade because Bobby tried to play with your toy and you didn't want to share with him, but your mom told you sharing is caring, it's good to be nice. So you're like, okay, and then you share it with Bobby and you guys have the best time ever and you guys become friends, and then that's online. And then it could be in middle school where you have your emo phase and you're listening to dark music and you're painting your nails black. You have like everything in your room you want to pair it with black. You're oh my gosh, you're writing with like colored pencil and you're just writing emo, everything black, making songs. My heart's so black and nobody can understand me, and you're just going crazy. Okay, being a teenager and exploring yourself. But what if everybody saw that? And let's say me as a teenager now, let's say, have I gone through any phases? I feel like I really haven't. I feel like ever since I've been 14, like, I'm like much the same. I guess I read now more, yeah, I would say. So now I'm like reader girly. But what if you know that we just saw you having a tantrum, even though of course you were 5 years old, but that doesn't make it really any less embarrassing. And then you, when you were 14 years old and probably could have knew better and had a emo phase that definitely did not look good on you. And then you as a 16-year-old, I don't know, like something embarrassing, falling down the stairs, and everybody saw that, and it's just, you can't take that down, because of course somebody can always screenshot, somebody can always download, somebody can always, I don't know, find it somehow, and that is crazy. And definitely with lesson privacy, we're really the experiments, but we also get to advocate for younger children. So for example, if a child doesn't want their picture to be shown on social media, we can advocate for that child and help them. And eventually, if you want your own children, if they don't want to pitch online, you can understand that and not post it online. There's also been deepfakes. Basically, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know this, but just in case you don't, deepfakes are basically like videos, or I think it could be pictures too of you that are false. They're not of you. So like, it could be me talking and it's like deepfake. They're really good. And it's actually terrifying when you think about it. And as you know, with this generation, there could be plenty of photos of you. And the fact that somebody could just deepfake you into something is terrifying. Like, it actually has happened though. High schoolers have had deepfake like videos and photos of them, and that is scary. Like, I saw this one thing where this teacher had a deepfake like video of her made by like teenage like, and why would you do that to somebody? Number one, like, it's horrible, but like happens, and it can happen. Even teachers. Oh, 1 in 8 teenagers say that they know somebody who was targeted with fake explicit images made by AI. Now, I'm not sure how much of this is, well, it was a recent study, but that is a crazy statistic. I wouldn't say, actually, because I haven't experienced something doesn't mean it's true. So maybe this is true. Like, a lot of people do deal with this, and that is horrible. It's really embarrassing, of course, and it is a high risk, but it's more than embarrassing because they can maybe use deepfake and show you doing something illegal, like you robbing a bank or something. Of course, the police, you need evidence and you need to go through things, but let's say like grandma saw that, right? And your grandma, she's not all there or something, or maybe she just doesn't understand technology that much, and then somebody sent that to your grandma, and now your grandma thinks that you are a bank robber. Honey, nobody, that is terrible, but it is a total possibility. Especially with these deepfakes, they are victimizing these older people who don't really know about deepfakes and stuff like that as much, which is also horrible. It does add like a layer of anxiety, because every time that you post a photo or a video, that could be a potential deepfake of you. And I've seen like a lot of deepfake videos online, like, of course, as well. Like, I saw this one deepfake of this guy, he's like a famous singer, I think his name is like, and then they showed him like to jail, but currently he's not even like in the courtroom yet, like going with the police. He's okay with them, you know, but it's like how realistic it looked. There also are school shootings and active shootings that are sadly very much known about and recognized part of our educational career. We have had lockdown drills, while maybe older generations have had fire drills. I can be deadly, yes, but I would say, at least with a fire, you properties, right? You about what you do, like there's a fire on the other side of the building, you can just get out the building and just go outside and go far away and you'll be fine. But with an active shooter, listen, an active shooter could go, of course with a fire too, could go inside the building, then it could go outside of the building where you are, and it could just go all around. You don't know where it is. And that is scary. Like, I've had an active drill in my school life. Let me see if I remember it. There was a thing where this guy, he brought like a knife to school. He said that he wanted to use it to like bread, and the school reacted, which I think is, yes, appropriate. Like, can't bring a knife to school. But that was scary. Like, I had people who were like crying in my classroom. My friend, 55% of parents said that their kids have been through a drill, but only 9% of those parents said that they haven't been through a drill themselves, or like active shooter type of like situation drill. Earlier generations didn't go out mentally scooping out exits or barricading doors. Our childhood especially shouldn't have to make us be hyper vigilant as we have been to these lockdown drills. I'm thinking of like only lockdown drills, and like I don't really remember them that much. But what I will say is, like, real ones, they're real and they're scary. Gun violence has been horrible, especially dangerous in the 2020s. So for children and teenagers, gun violence is now the #1 killer in America, which surpasses illness and car accidents, which sadly it is true. Like, say like a lot of teenagers, they get into car accidents and everything. That horrible milestone has begun in the, well, I would say like there in the 2020s, or not necessarily like, but stay there in the 2020s, and then has been sadly keeping its place. Doing our math homework, and in the back of our mind thinking like, could bring a horrible weapon in here, and all of the amazing things that we have done, all of the amazing things that we're going to do could be taken from us. That's horrible. 22, over 2,500 kids 1 to 17 are dying of gun violence every year. That is a horrible number. That shouldn't exist at all. That has more than doubled since 2013. School shootings are no longer having that real shocking effect anymore. Like, see schools raising money for better protection against shooters. And I was just seeing this school, they made like a bulletproof little shelter that you could kind of like, you could go in, it could work as a board, and then it could like up, and then it could lock it, and then you could put your students in there if like a lockdown or something. And you just like through, I was like, oh my gosh, that's cool. I was like, and then like when I think, oh my gosh, that is not cool, that is horrible that you have to spend money on that, then giving these children more education, more tools, or paying these teachers more, because they don't get paid a lot. And there is a trend overload. So with humans, of course, you have to follow the tribe. You have to follow, you know, like everybody else is doing. Like, kind of natural for us to want to be doing that, because if you didn't and you were seen as an outcast, that could literally be you like alive anymore the next day. Keeping up with these trends can be like full-time job. One week there is the clean girl aesthetic, do makeup, get like simple jewelry. Next there is the soft girl pastel, and then there is the mob wife, so chic, like lipstick, red, stuff like that. And then college core, or like it is a lot, and it can be exhausting. It is an endless rabbit hole. You're trying to keep up, trying to constantly re-avenge yourself like month, and you can eventually burn out. Even people like, I guess young people are like Z are like this out. So there's this one tweet of a relentless churn of aesthetics. How people are like into this capitalistic trend market of constantly like putting their money into this trend, and then 2 weeks later it not even existing anymore. The pressure is always to go with the trends, to be in style. Generations definitely had trends too, but not at the speed as we did. Because if you think about it, like, they didn't have social media, which is such an like easy and fast way to get to each other, but they also had to like things, or like had to ship things across a boat. So if say a new dress was in style, it could take like a few months or maybe even like before it really catches on like places. Like for example, you can't possibly fit in with the trends and be in with the times, and sometimes you may feel like you don't belong because you're not in anymore. And it's horrible for your mental health and for your money as well. Many Gen Z people say that they have like now from all the aesthetics and all the trends, which makes sense because there's a lot of them. But it's good that there are some people that, well, it's kind of sad, but that go numb and then they just stop trying to like, then they make their own subcultures. It can be a real rebellious way into not caring about the trends and just being yourself. But it is a little easier than said than done, because really the algorithm does like things, or at least it probably wants to push things that are more like trendy because more people want to see that. But it's important to, yes, like yourselves. I personally do get that, have my own like, I would say my wardrobe, it is more coquette, which I know coquette is like out, it's probably been out for like a while, but I don't care. I love coquette because I've always loved it, and it's always been my favorite aesthetic. So that is one aesthetic that I'm gonna stick with because I love that girl, honey. Like, so cute. So like colors like baby doll tops, and I love all of those things. So it really stick to me. And of course I wear different things too. I wear like shirts and comfy pants. I like to wear ballet flats too, which is kind of like the coquette thing, or like I like regular sneakers. And I really just go with, what do I think look good? Of course the aesthetic is nice, but what really matters is you, because it's an aesthetic, but that can be replaced, but you cannot be replaced. So you might as well express your individuality and your creativity and yourself, because nobody will be able to replicate exactly what you do to the T. Actually, somebody will, but at least you would have been, I guess, the first. There also is a fast fashion guilt cycle. I can get this. Like, I know this before, but they've said like been like best company or whatever, or hasn't been like their workers like the best. But yeah, the more you think about it, you see those prices and you're like, yes, bitch, you gotta be going on, because how's that top like, and you're not like, are those workers good? And it definitely makes you feel bad. Like, can I support like company like that and somebody's life like that? Like, deserve as much as I deserve. You know what I mean? We are hopefully a sustainable generation, or a sustainable informed generation at the very least. We know about climate change. Yeah, do still go to companies like Temu, Shein, and Zara, fast fashion websites. It is a very visible paradox. Shein's revenue hit 32.5 billion in 2024. That is 43% up from 2022. Largely by selling $8 crop tops, and then like, let's say $8 like jeans, younger shoppers. Half of Gen Z say that they do want sustainable products, but that's kind of difficult because they said that they're broke. Like, given the economy, it is a bit more difficult, yes, because things are more pricier, and our wages haven't really seen too much of a fluctuation or a change. And we see cute haul videos and we think, how amazing would that be to have? You know, it's happening every week. Fast fashion is one of the only ways to stay in style without losing all of your money. It can result in a lot of cognitive dissonance. We know that those $4 shirts are made with questionable ethics or product and may end up in a landfill, but we get it anyway. And we feel guilty for it. Psychologists label this the attitude behavior gap of Gen Z. We care about the environment, yet we are funding these unsustainable clothing brands and fueling the throwaway clothing industry. This gap can cause real angst. We report feeling fear, guilt, and anger about climate change. It's really a feedback loop. We love the environment and we care for it. The beautiful trees, the beautiful sky, the beautiful atmosphere, all of the animals that live in it. But we are way too broke to buy that ethical, amazing $80 jeans pants. So we go online, go to Shein, and buy those $8 jeans pants, even with the questionable ethics and etc. And then we feel bad about it, but it continues. But the good thing is Gen Zers have been thrifting, and it's amazing how thrifting has become such a trending thing, and I hope it stays like this. I hope it never goes away. And upcycling clothing, which can help cope with the guilt. And it's an amazing thing to do overall. Capitalism hands us super stuff on the platter and says, you need to stay in style. Resisting it is hard when trends, like, they change so fast, like on a dime. We're trying to rekindle and connect our values with our budget, but it's difficult. More things to say, but my camera died, and looking back on everything that I have, what I said is a lot already, so I'll be making a part 2 to this of growing up in the 2020s. I love you guys. See you later.